There are some of us who've worked for some time, and money is an idol because we're frustrated we don't have more of it. If money is your idol, you'll do anything to make a lot of money. You'll sacrifice your family, your integrity. If you worship it, you'll do things for it because you have to have it, and it will never be enough. And we tend to think of idols as things, but some of our idols are actually not material things. The idol of success is very prominent. If your idol is success, you'll run hard after it, and you'll harm yourself, and you'll harm your kids, and you'll harm your family, and you'll harm your health to get it. And even if you achieve some measure of success in this life, it will eventually fade. If beauty is your idol, then you'll do anything you can to attain it in your diet, in your workout. You'll harm yourself, your physical well-being. And as it fades, and it will, you'll be discouraged and distraught because the God of beauty didn't deliver. If you have an approval idol, this one is for us in Minnesota. Yeah, sure, you betcha. You have to have the approval of others. Someone said something to me or looked at me funny or honked at me in traffic. I don't have their approval. I have to be approved of by people. It is so important to me. It changes my life. If approval is what gives us value and meaning, it will eventually harm us. Family can be an idol. And this one's a little tricky to talk about in church. You can even idolize your spouse in an unhelpful way. You can place him or her before God, and you can say, I know I'm supposed to follow Jesus, but what really matters to me is the approval of my husband or my wife. And I'm willing to do anything to get it. Control can be a huge idol. It's so important that I won't put myself in any situation where I don't have control. I have to be in control. I was hurt before, and no one can ever hurt me again. And the way that I make sure that I'm never hurt again is to remain in control. I'm in control of my family. I'm in control of my church. I'm in control in my marriage. And we can take any good thing, this is what Calvin was talking about, and worship it and make it ultimate. Is doing your job well a bad thing? No, of course not. You are to do all things as if you were working for God. Is earning money a bad thing? No, absolutely not. God blesses us. Is trying to take good care of your family a bad thing? No, absolutely. We're supposed to do all of these things. But our hearts are prone toward taking a good thing and making it into a God thing, an ultimate thing that we have to have. And none of them can deliver what our souls need, because they're like the Baals that these prophets are crying out to. This isn't a lecture this morning, friends. This is a proclamation in love for your hearts and mine that God wants something more for us. And idolatry is tricky and oh so subtle. We've typically placed the car seat for our youngest child right behind the driver's seat in our vehicle. And I find myself often carrying things out. So I'm carrying my coffee and a phone stuff, and I've got our youngest child. I'm trying to get him into the car seat a lot of times. And so I'll do this with my stuff. I'll set it on top of the car, right? And sometimes I forget that they're there, and I drive away. Coffee mugs, sadly, had their end. Phones. My kids like to tease me that we should have a show on YouTube called What's on Top of the Car with Jake Anderson. The greatest example of this was 7 years ago. I had just gotten my first road bike, and I was just getting into road biking, and it was a beauty. It had a carbon fiber fork, and it was made for a tall guy. It was 62 centimeters. And I had never ridden a bike that light before. I mean, I could pick it up with a couple fingers, and this thing would fly. I could go 30 miles an hour. It was a great bike. And the way we transported it mainly was on a rack on top of our van. And one day I was coming back from a ride in the middle of a conversation, and I drove into our garage, and I heard a big noise. My bike was still on top of the car. Bummer, is right, yeah. I love it when you participate. And I guess this is a thing. So I realized, as you need to, I have a problem, right? And so I looked it up, I Googled it, and I guess it is a thing. The solution is that you're supposed to put a Post-it note next to your garage door opener that reminds you every time before you drive in your garage to think about, is there something on top of the car before you open the garage door? We need to be reminded. It's just really easy to forget that we have stuff I have stuff on top of the car. And here's the thing, idolatry is really like this. Like, it's just really easy to forget that this is going on in our hearts and to go about life not realizing our worship problem. God desires to call us out on this, just like he's doing through Elijah in our text, because he loves us. He wants the best for us.